everyone, today I'm here to do another book review. I feel like I'm doing really great with the book reviews. Today's book is going to be Cress by Marissa Meyer. And as you can see, it's part of a series, so we're going to talk a little bit about the series if you don't know what the Lunar Chronicles is about, in case you're just wondering and want to know more information. Then we're going to talk about the book, and I'm definitely going to use spoilers, so just be warned, but I will let you know when I'm going to spoil it. So first, let's talk about this series. So this is book 3 in the Lunar Chronicles, and if you're familiar with the Lunar Chronicles, you know that the 4th and last book just came out last week, so that really got into high gear for me to read this book. Now, Crest has been out for a while, like over a year, I think, and I started reading it when it first came out, and then I just forgot to, and it's just been on my shelf ever since, like haunting me, plaguing me. Read it, and then when winter came out, it really gave me a kick in the butt to read it, so I'm glad about that. I love the first 2 books in the series, which are Cinder and Scarlet. Now, if you're new to Lunar Chronicles, it is a 4-book series, and it's kind of a fairy tale retelling series. So each book follows a main protagonist, but we still get different viewpoints for pretty much everybody in this series, but particularly the person that's named after usually will be like the majority of the book, if that makes sense. So the first book is Cinder. It's like a fairy tale retelling of Cinderella. So you get a hint, she's a cyborg too, if you can see. So primarily Cinder follows pretty much Cinder in this book. And the whole premise, by the way, of this book, I should say, is Cinder is an android and she learns something about herself, and she's involved. She meets Prince Kai, and things are happening with like the Lunars, which is the moon pretty much, and the evil queen up there. So you gotta think about that. It's got that whole Cinderella thing. I can't say too much without giving it away. It's just this is a very, very awesome fairy tale retelling series, like my favorite by far. So Cinder's all about Cinder, obviously. And then we get into Scarlet, and Scarlet is a take on Little Red Riding Hood. So Scarlet is Little Red Riding Hood. So there's Wolf in this. We also get a really good dose of Cinder and Prince Kai. So each book, as it goes on, you are introduced to a new character, such as Cress, such as Scarlet, but you still get previous book characters intertwined with the book, if that makes sense. You're getting a lot of Cinder's and Scarlet's point of view in both of these. So I believe I have a review for both Cinder and Scarlet, which I will link right here if you can go click on the cards, or I will link them down below, whatever you prefer. Now, Crest is a fairy tale retelling on Rapunzel, and Cress is her name. You'll figure out more about Cress. And yeah, as you can see, this book is really, really thick. So first we get, the first 2 are relatively small, the last 2 are huge. This is like over 500 pages, and I believe Winter is over 800 pages, so yeah. So if you are new and you don't know what Lunar Chronicle is and if you should pick it up, my recommendation is yes, you definitely need to pick up the series because it is so good. This has become one of my favorite series. I love Scarlet. Scarlet's one of my favorite in the series, but I gotta say, Cress, it was a really freaking good book. And I just love all of the characters, how there's multiple plot lines going on, but it all intertwines, and it's just amazing, and you really like each of the characters, and it's just so awesome. So if you are new to Lunar Chronicles, pick it up because you will not be disappointed. It's a sci-fi fairy tale retelling, and it's amazing and awesome, and I can't say enough about it because it's just so great. So that's all I'm going to say about no spoilers if you haven't really read Lunar Chronicles before. I just want to give you an introduction about it. I would go more into detail exactly what was in the books, but I feel like I would give too much away, and I don't want to do that because I want you to enjoy the book and enjoy the series because they're so good. So, which by the way, if you have not read Winter yet, please join me because right now I'm starting a read-along, and we're going to read it for the month of December. I know I can't wait to read it. We're using the hashtag #WinterIsHere if you want to join along with us and just talk about it. I know there's some people that's already interested. We're just going to talk about it via Twitter and stuff because I know when I read books, I want to talk to people about it, but I don't know if I want to spoil anybody. So just use the hashtag #WinterIsHere and let's chat about it, what you think about it, what's going on in the series, everything like that. I just want to have a big discussion about Winter, and I will film a review video for it, but I just want to read it with some people, and I really want to talk about it with people. So join in on the discussion because I can't wait to read Winter. I'm going to talk a little bit about Crest now. We are going to use spoilers, so if you have not read this book, please do not watch any further. Crest. So this is all about Rapunzel and Cress, or Crescent Moon, or whatever you call her name. I loved Cress. Cress was very timid. She was very awkward because she was in a satellite for 7 years of her life. She developed this huge crush on Thor, which I thought was was funny. And then she meets Thorn, and I think she starts building up all these things that are mine, of how they're going to fall in love, and how she's his damsel in distress, and it's just so cute. But Thorn is just, you know, not the guy that the guy that she thinks he is. It's just, it was a very, very cute thing that's going on. So we have so many plot lines within this book. We have the Thorn and Crest going on, how they're stranded, Thorn's lost his eyesight. Then we have Cinder and Wolf and Aiko, is that how you say her name? And the other guy, Jacqueline, I don't know how you say his name. They're in Africa pretty much, and they're with Dr. Erland, I believe. And then you have that going on. Then you have Scarlet, who has been left alone and taken away to Lunar. So to Luna, and she's, you know, alone. So they've got all these multiple plot lines, and then you're also following Prince Kai and Queen Lavina's wedding. So you have all of these plot lines going on, and when I was reading it, I was getting kind of confused at first. I'm like, how's this all going to tie together? But then at the end, it all ties so beautifully together, like a nice, beautiful woven braid. I said that for Rapunzel. I loved each of the subplots, how it was just so intricate, and you were really invested in each of the stories. I have to say, I was really loving Cress's and Thorn's story. I just loved how, you know, Thorn, he was showing more of himself to Cress, and I think Cress is starting to realize maybe he's not who he says he is, and she still has in the back of her mind that she's just in love with him, but the more goes on, and Cress ultimately shows to be a very strong heroine. In the beginning, you think this girl really can't stand up for herself, she's not really that strong, but at the end, you really see that she is a contender in this fight, and she's gonna know, and she knows what's right and wrong, and she knows what she's gonna do. So I really loved Cress' development in this. I thought it was great. As well as Thorn. At the end, we see Thorn soften up a little bit, and maybe he is starting to have feelings for Cress, which I think is just adorable. It was so adorable. And then we have Cinder. Cinder is on a mission to stop this wedding, to save Prince Kai, to do all these things. She's going through so much stuff. I feel so bad for Cinder, because it's like yesterday she found out she's a princess. Now she's got to start like a revolution. It's like, when will this end? Will I ever be able to sleep peacefully and catch my breath? It's like, oh, I feel so bad for her, because she wasn't asked this was thrust upon her, but that's how life goes sometimes, and I think she's managing it so well, and she's just doing what she can. At the end, with her and Kai, and they kiss and they reunite, I think all of us girls were just like, ah, swoon, swoon. It was very romantic, and I loved how, you know, Cinder handles things. I like about Cinder, sometimes she doesn't do ultimately the right thing. Like, there's been instances where she's, you know, used guards and she's had to mind control them, and she feels like that's something that the queen would do. But I feel like Cinder has a very different mindset from Lavina. You know, she knows what she's doing isn't that great, but she knows she's doing it for the greater cause. Like, she has a conscience, whereas Lavina, who really doesn't have a conscience, she's just straight up evil, okay? And then we have Wolf and Scarlet. I feel so bad. I feel like there wasn't a lot of Scarlet in this book, barely at all. You get to see very minimal glimpses of Scarlet because she was captured. And at the end, we figure out that, you know, she was talking to this crazy person, which turns out to be Princess Winter, which is the next book, which made me even more compelled to read the fourth book. And you figure out more about her. And I think with that, Scarlet's going to come into play a lot in Winter, because she's up there and she's talking to Winter. So I think there's going to be a lot of communication between her and Winter. At least one can hope, because I really love Scarlet as a character, and I wanted to see her more in this book, but she just wasn't there. Instead, we're getting Wolf, and Wolf, you know, has gotten injured, and he, you know, is feeling very sad that his alpha has been taken away, and he's very just upset. And it was really nice to see that growth with Wolf, you know, to see his feelings and stuff. It was very sweet, but I want Scarlet back. We need more Scarlet, okay? If I'm talking too fast, I'm just trying to remember things. And then the very, very sad part when Dr. Erland realizes that Cress is his daughter, Crescent Moon, and that very ending where he knows he's dying, and he tells her, and they both just start sobbing, and I almost started sobbing. I was like, this is like the worst timing ever. This is so freaking sad, and this is so freaking horrible, and I'm just, And I also felt during the whole book that things were not going right. Like, everything bad kept happening, and it was like, no relief, no relief. When are we ever going to win this fight? And then I kept thinking, this is the third book in the series. It's going to get worse before it gets better. The fourth book's going to tie everything up, and we need to know. I still need to read Fairest, actually. I really need to read that one. I love this book. I love the plots. I loved how each character developed so much between these pages. It's amazing how fast you can see characters develop. It's just awesome. I just loved it. Will I say this is my favorite in the series? Right now, yes, because it's been so long since I've read Scarlet, like so long. I want to say at least 2 years that long. And I just don't have so much memory of it. I do really like Scarlet. Scarlet was a really good book, but I loved Crest. I just loved the build-up. I loved all the action in it. I loved things finally coming to a head, but not quite yet. There was just so much. This whole book was about building up to the wedding, building up to stopping this wedding, and that whole scene with the wedding and them stopping it did not disappoint to me. Some laggish parts in the book, but ultimately I think the book kept a really good pace. It kept me very interested in it. I kept wanting to. I don't have very much time to read, but whenever I did have free time, where I would usually work or something, I wanted to pick up that book. I wanted to know what was going on. I had to go back to the book. So that's amazing. I thought the pacing was really well. There were some parts that were but overall the pacing was really good. The characters were amazing. The plot was amazing. I love this series, suffice to say. It's just an amazing series, and I find myself, as it goes on, falling in love with it more. I'm in love with the series. I think that it just keeps getting better as it goes along. As I said, I just feel more and more invested in these characters, more invested in the plot line, and I just can't wait to see what happens with Winter. I love how each book is named after the character. I think that's such a really... It's just so cool. I mean, you have Cinder, you have Scarlet, you have Cress, you have Winter. We don't know much about Winter, but I'm going to say she's a powerhouse, much like the 3 other girls. We have 4 girls with 4 totally different dynamics. Cinder is very strong-willed, and she's got the weight of the world on her shoulders. Then we have Scarlet, who is very sarcastic, very strong, very sharp-witted. Then we have Cress, who is much more timid, much more shy, but she still packs a punch. She still is a contender in this fight. She has will. And then we have Winter. We don't know much about Winter other than the fact that she's kind of crazy and that she's got some scars on her face. We don't know much about her, but I'm going to say she's got to be a powerhouse, be with these 3 other girls. We have these 4 girls who are just trying to do the right thing, to start a revolution, to just do the right thing. And I am so in love with some great female characters. I love strong heroines. They're just... I love them. I think they're great. So yeah, I feel like I've gushed about this book like the whole video. I just can't get over it. I love this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 because I was so interested, so invested. I loved all the characters, the plot lines, the revolution, the sadness. There was lots of sad in this book. There was also some swoon-worthy things, like with Thorn and Cress, and definitely with Cinder and Kai, and it just makes me, I really want to read Winter right now. It's an over 800 page book, and it's going to take me a while, but I can't wait to talk about it with people, so it's going to be awesome. I'm excited. I hope I talked enough about the book. I feel like I really went fast with it, but that's what I do. If you have read Cress, did you love it as much as I did? What has been your favorite book in the series? If you have not read Winter yet, if you haven't read Winter yet, you said Winter, don't even comment, because we're only up to Cress right now. So which one is your favorite? Which one's your favorite character? Do you like Cinder? Are you more of a Cinder? Are you more of a Scarlet? Or are you more of a Cress? I feel like I'm most like a Scarlet, if I'm honest, but I might be a little bit of Cinder. I don't know. I feel like I'm not Cress that much, but I love her, but I just don't really connect with her well. Like I don't think we are very similar. But yeah, let me know what you think of this series, and if you haven't read the series, what are you waiting for? Pick it up immediately, because you will not be disappointed. You will not be. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos, and I will talk to you later. Bye.
Emma May went to school today with her hair wrapped in a bow.